Hello, Dallas Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Cowboys Blog. I'm John Madden, and now let's get to today's topic.
Highway?
What's this guy supposed to be, the ultimate badass?
Hey, what's up, everybody? The final preseason game is in the bag. Let's talk about the roster and where we're at. This is serious? Boom. All right. So, Cowboys' final preseason game in the bag. They faced off with the Atlanta Falcons here at AT&T Stadium. So, that's it. You know, it's roster cut time. Who made it? Who snuck in? You know, who played? You know, is really what I was looking at here. Who sat? You know, it was interesting to see who did not play in this game. You know, you can read into it as far as like, you know, they sat him, they probably have a good chance of making the team, or they sat him, maybe they're going to trade him. So, few important guys that did not play in this game. Jalen Tolbert, he didn't play in this game. He's been rumored to be in trade possibilities. I don't know about that. We'll see. And then you have other players that I like a Zion Childress. He didn't play. Did he make the team? Is he going to be one of these nickel guys? A lot of the guys that I said could be surprise cuts, they were out there. Israel Mukuamu. Now they have him at safety. I've always said that when they start moving you around like this, you don't have a spot. You're kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, and you're open to just being like, what are we doing with this guy? So McCollum, he had to play in the game, obviously, you know, but it wasn't enough to lock up a roster spot, considering who didn't play, who maybe you thought he would be in the mix for, like in the nickel position, or maybe they're looking at him at the safety now. So I think he's still he's gonna be on the bubble. Mazi Smith, he's not gonna be a surprise cut. Like, dude, they played him again the whole game. You know, is this an audition to make the team, or an audition for somebody else to take him off our hands? I still didn't see it. Oh, he had one play, and all of a sudden everybody's changing their minds. Man, we have some flip-floppers in the community. I mean, it's wild. He still does not play good. I mean, the body language stinks. He makes one good play, right? And all of a sudden, he's back. Nah, man. That's what he is. He's inconsistent. And it's kind of the embodiment of the preseason. I think this is a preview of what the Cowboys are going to be. And this kind of mimics what Garrett did. Inconsistency throughout the season, which would lead to 8 and 8 seasons. You would have the one-off 13-3 or something like this, right? But for the most part, win 2, lose 1. Lose 2, win 1. Win 3, lose 3. Like, it was always like that with Garrett. And this is what the preseason kind of felt like. You know what I mean? And because this game, it was a lot better. Joe Milton, he played really good here. You know, I think the conversation does come back to the front, though. Is he your number 2 quarterback, or is it still going to be, or do you think it will be Will Grier and then Milton at number 3? From what I saw today, you know, I think the Cowboys, in their stubborn ways, and historically, this is what they're probably going to do. I think they will keep him as the number 2, and if that goes down, they're just going to roll with the punches, you know, and see where the final record goes. Almost like, well, if that goes out, the season's probably down the drain anyway. Just put Milton in there, get the experience, get the snaps, and at the same time, you know, a possible top 12, top 10 pick. So I think the Cowboys are probably going to do that, you know. But the title of this video is this roster good enough? You know, the preseason's over, roster cuts are coming. People say we're top heavy. You know, what exactly does that mean, top heavy? Like, to me, I think the word is not used correctly. I think we just don't have enough talent is what it is. You know, if you were top heavy, you would have a big chunk of this roster with a lot of talent, and then the bottom half not. We're not top heavy. We're we have this much legit talent, blue chippers, and then the rest is like not good, dude. So that's what I'm saying. This roster, it's like a house of cards, right? If that goes out, obviously this is pretty much the same for anybody. So we won't count the quarterback, but your other positions here on the team, you know, like if CD goes out, you're going to take a few steps back offensively. If Pickens goes out, same deal, you know. If one of your running backs goes out, you're probably in trouble. If one of your if your tackle or guard, center, somebody goes out, you're taking steps back because that bottom, I would say the bottom 75% of your roster, that's the heavy part. You don't have good talent there. These backups, they really showed to me that they are not that good. You know what I mean? And that's because these guys are all about draft and develop and going cheap in free agency. That's why it's a house of cards. You know what I mean? So as far as and going back to the game here, I did like how they played better on offense. You know, Milton was better with the decision making, had better touch on the ball. You know, the receivers were catching the ball and running good routes out there. So I like that. Offensive line, I thought they held their own there, protecting Joe Milton for the most part. I thought they held up relatively well there. And we got to see Jade on Blue. All right, what do you guys think? You know, I think this guy's gonna be injury prone guy. You know, give him a chance, and it's early, and the excuse makers, right? I mean, he missed a whole lot of training camp with an ankle, and then another ankle injury, and here we go again. Is he gonna be ready for the season? I hate that crap because now it's probably gonna make this front office think, oh, we're gonna have to carry another running back here. I don't want to carry a bunch of like backup running backs because that's all we have. So you have Javonte. He made the team. After that, obviously Jadon Blue. I think those two are the ones that are pinned into the paper. Those two. After that, Miles Sanders I think could be a surprise cut. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he necessarily would make the team. I think it's going to come down to Maffa. And God dang it, man, I'm afraid that these guys are gonna bring Deuce Vaughn again. I really am. Just from what we've seen here in the preseason, giving him more snaps. He had a couple of splash plays. It doesn't mean anything in the regular season. We've seen him. Those feet, they move, but he doesn't get anywhere. He's a wasted roster spot. Move off from him. This team could regret letting Maffa walk out the door if they were not able to bring him back. And remember, he's a free agent. And once he gets cut, passes waivers, he can go somewhere else if he wants. He doesn't have to come back here. You know, we've seen some of our guys do that. You know, like I'm not gonna have an opportunity here. I'm moving on. I like the way he plays. He has a physical style that I think that you need moving forward. If you're gonna rebuild the running back room, you know what I mean? I think you need to go young. You know, because these young legs are going to be there at the end of the season. The old legs, which has been a problem with Javonte and Miles Sanders, at the end of the season, they're completely out of gas. We saw that with Ezekiel Elliott. You have to have young, fresh legs here. So if it were me, the three I would carry, Javonte, Jadon Blue, and Phil Maffa. That's it. You can bring the other guys on the practice squad. I would love to bring a completely different set of legs here on our practice squad. Just reboot it, man. Don't keep bringing the same people over and over here. You know what I mean? Malik Davis, thank you. Deuce Vaughn, move on. All right. Wide receiver, that's going to be interesting. Did Flournoy do enough here? I thought he had a strong game here. Would he be one of these guys that would be your final wide receiver? And Trayshawn Holden, I think they're going to release and see if they can bring him back here. The other guys, maybe Jalen Brooks is in the mix. He had a touchdown. So maybe it's between Brooks and Flournoy for the very last wide receiver position, you know. But we're talking about bottom of the roster guys. So talking about, is this roster good enough? Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you think that this roster is good enough to compete in the division? Like, we know who we have in our starters. Do you like how the coaches have coached these guys up? What is your gut feeling here on this roster? To me, like I said, you have these much blue chippers. That's not enough. And you have a lot of backup guys who are playing in starter roles. This needs to go like this. This needs to be more like this. You know what I mean? And that we're not there. And that's scouting, drafting, that's free agency. So it's too lopsided. One of my favorite writers and analysts, I believe it was Charles Davis. He wrote an article on what you need to compete for Super Bowl. You need a couple of blue chippers. You need an offense and a top flight defense. Cowboys, I think they're trying to figure themselves out here. So is this roster good enough? I think it's good enough to keep you watching. I think they'll be in the mix there at the end, but they're not there right now yet. And you have a big distraction as well in the room with this whole Micah Parsons drama. The front office is taking another beating here on the chin with that issue as well. And then you have guys who other contracts are coming up next. Tyler Smith, he's seeing this. Brandon Aubrey, let's kick the 64-yard field goal. Todd France is his agent. You think the Cowboys are going to have an issue with that? They don't like Todd France. So are we going to lose out on Brandon Aubrey? And he'll be a free agent after the season. So lots to think about. Lots to consider. Hopefully we do have a winning season. Obviously, we want to win it all. It's been a while. But you look around the league and you see talent that is way better across the board. So, guys, let me know what you guys think. Do we have a good enough roster from what you've seen? Let me know in the comments. Give me your realistic answers. Appreciate you, bros.
Yeah, old school, baby.